Welcome back, guys, to another very misty day in Chongqing. I'm in DAZU district at the moment, which is, God, it took a while to get here. Actually, it's not the most accessible place. It took about 2.5 hours on the coach from Hechuan, where I'm staying. This place is famous, however, for one of the most impressive and largest collection of Buddhist rock carvings anywhere in China, along with the Longmen grottos in Henan province, the Yungan grottos in Shanxi province, and the Mogao grottos in Gansu. This completes the list of the 4 great Buddhist carving sites in China. I'm quite excited to be here because I've been to the other 3. It's not just one site here, unlike the other places. There are several sites spread out over about 20 kilometers. I'm not going to be able to see all of them today, unfortunately, but I'm going to try to go to a couple. This one is Baodingshan. It's probably the most famous one. And also I'm going to go to the North Mountain as well. See what I can find there. Let's go. So initial thoughts, compared to the other 3 places that I just mentioned, this is quiet. Wow, those other 3 places they're all amazing places, you know. If you're going to visit China, these Buddhist grottos are amazing. They're all great, but they are all busy, except here apparently. It makes sense. It really isn't that easy to get to. Wow. So this very, very beautiful carved wall is what you come to first at Baodingshan. It's Southern Song Dynasty. It was built in the 1100s, carved in the 1100s, I should say.
The DAZU rock carvings are a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and the focal point is this long 500-metre wall known as the Big Buddha Bend. There are over 6,000 carvings here at Baodingshan, and almost all were created in the 12th century. The niche of the netherworld, showing the 18 stories of hell, was particularly interesting, and at this scale is quite unique in China.
This part apparently depicts stories of hell. It mentions on the sign there a story called knee-chopping hell, which sounds pretty brutal. Very unusual. Now, I'm going to guess that is knee-chopping hell. Some pretty weird and dark stuff there. Anyway, let's keep moving. I think there's a lot to see here. Let's go.
Everywhere you look, you notice new things. The walk continues around, passing various unusual sculptures representing the various schools of Buddhism, until you come to the main showpieces of Baodingshan.
The 9 dragons. I think I've mentioned that before in some videos. Very, very important symbols of Chinese culture and history. So this is the centerpiece of the rock carvings here at Baodingshan. It's a 31-meter long reclining Buddha, also Song Dynasty. So basically everything here was built in the Southern Song Dynasty, which makes them actually more recent than the other Buddhist grottos, but nevertheless, still talking almost 1,000 years old and just wonderful. The colours on them are unbelievable. So this is the 1,000-hand, 1,000-eye depiction of Guanyin. It's also Southern Song Dynasty, 11 to 1200s. I've never seen anything like that in my life. I think the thing that's so amazing about this place is also the setting, you know? Look, we're just basically, like we're in a jungle. The wilds of southwest China. I'm having a very, very, very good time so far. I mean, this is unbelievable, unbelievable. So this whole thing was constructed over about 70 years under the command of one guy, a guy called Zhang Zhifeng. During the Southern Song Dynasty, this part of China around Sichuan, Chongqing was one of the wealthiest parts. So obviously had a lot of money to do this, a lot of labour. I think it's kind of amazing. I'm having a really good time. I knew it was going to, you know what, I knew it was going to be kind of impressive. I knew it was going to blow me away, but wow, wow. So the site also covers imagery and iconography from basically every different sect of Buddhism there is. So like Pure Land Buddhism, or the Huayan school, or Chan Zen Buddhism. Anyway, done them all now. The 4 great collections of Buddhist carvings. Obviously in China there are actually hundreds of sites where you can see rock carvings, but the 4 mentioned, including this one, they're the big ones. Now this one is quite unusual because before the 1970s it was kind of unknown, like you couldn't even come here. It only opened to foreigners in 1980 and to Chinese people in the 1970s. So this is all quite... The research on this place is very, very, very modern. Unlike the other places which have been studied and visited for just hundreds and hundreds of years, this place kind of lost in the mountains of surrounding Chongqing. Yeah. Right, okay, so we're going to leave Baodingshan now and head back into central DAZU, where there is another spot. It's called the North Mountain, also full of, actually older than here, Buddhist carvings and an ancient pagoda. Alright, so this is Beishan, the North Mountain. It's another one of the sites of the DAZU rock carvings. From Baodingshan, where I just came from, I took a taxi, about 20 minutes maybe, it's not too bad. On the hill behind me, I spy a pagoda. It's Song Dynasty, it's quite an old one. I will get there, somehow. So the carvings here are about the oldest in DAZU. They're older than the previous ones were at Baodingshan. There's a Tang Dynasty, which makes them, they were carved in about the 800s. Wow, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's kind of spooky in here though. Really enjoy coming to these kind of out of the way places, you know. However, I have a big plan, obviously, which will be very soon, starting very soon. I think I mentioned it in another video. I'm going to travel from Beijing down to Hangzhou, down the Grand Canal. It's going to be very different, I think, from everything else I've ever filmed, because obviously going from Beijing to Hangzhou, you're passing through just heaps and heaps of like mega cities, which I've never really filmed in. So it'll be a new thing for me, a new thing for the channel, rather than being, you know, here or in a desert somewhere. I'll be in Beijing. Exciting, actually. I'm really looking forward to it. A lot to read, a lot to plan. Can't wait, can't wait.
Beishan, the North Mountain, is not as popular as Baodingshan, but it does have some magnificent caves and some nice walking. You can buy a combo ticket which covers both Beishan and Baodingshan for 130 renminbi.
See, this reminds me a lot more of Dunhuang and the Yungan grottos, like carved out big caves. Cool dragon as well, we like that. At Baodingshan it was very different there. Unlike every other famous Buddhist grotto in China, which are just like this, caves carved out. I'm not sure why this one has a big gate in front of it, but anyway. At Baodingshan, where we just were, it was all carved into the natural, like kind of niche of the cliff, rather than just dug out caves. Quite unusual. This is much more like the other grottos I've visited in China. So where am I going to rate it in my list of Chinese Buddhist sculptures? As an experience to visit, I think this might be the best one, purely because there's no one here. It's quiet, it's peaceful, and there's not as much tourist crap. Obviously it is the most recent of all of them, all of the famous sites. So if you're looking for like the oldest history, obviously you want to be going to places like Dunhuang, to the Mogao grottos, or the Yungan grottos maybe. This is great though. If you want to make the journey out here, probably you'd be coming from Chongqing. It's a couple of hours. If money's not an issue, of course you can just, you know, take a taxi or something, but it costs you a couple hundred kwai, I think. It's not that cheap, it's quite a long way. Really happy I made the trip. I wasn't going to do it. I was in a bar last night in Hezhuo. Found a bar. There's not many bars in Hezhuo, I don't think, and I got talking to the boss, who's a nice guy, very passionate about his local history. And I told him, I was like, I might go to DAZU and see the things, but it's a long way, the weather's going to be rubbish. And he was just like, are you going to come here again? Probably not. So he's like, oh, we'll go and do it then. So I did, took his advice. Very happy I did. Yeah, I'm really happy I did actually, because now it's another list of things I can tick off. The 4 famous Buddhist carving sites in China. All of them. Done them all. I do love how green and wild it is here. Feels like I'm just miles away from anything. Actually, Chongqing, which is like one of the biggest cities in the world, is not far down the road. Right, last thing to do on this video, I think, and that is, you guessed it, it's a pagoda. It's way over there, I can see it, but I don't know how to get there. Let's go and find it. I want to see it because it's an old one, and as you know, this is my life goal now. If I can see all these 1001 pagodas from this book, I'll die a happy man. Oh wow, it's an absolute beauty.
The largest carvings at Beishan are the 2 10-metre tall statues sat underneath the Doorbao Pagoda, a truly amazing and mysterious place. This is what we want to see. Real, untouristy history. Magnificent.
Well, the old lady just told me that these are also Song Dynasty. They're easily the biggest sculptures here at the North Mountain. So I'm only in this shot just to give you an idea of the size of these statues behind me. Anyway, let's go up the steps and have a look at the pagoda.
Built during the Southern Song Dynasty in the mid-1100s, the Doorbao Pagoda is a work of art. One of my favourites so far. Shame you can't go in it though.
It's quite a nice one. It's a Southern Song Dynasty, so about 900 years old maybe. So it's about 33 metres tall, this pagoda. And the location's crazy. Obviously here near the DAZU rock carvings, and also being built on top of 2 huge Buddha statues. It's quite an amazing location. Although not a lot of people come here, as you can see, it is actually quite a famous pagoda because it was studied by the very famous Chinese historian architect Liang Sicheng, amongst other people, who spoke very highly of it. It's a beautiful pagoda in obviously an amazing location. And this is where I will leave you today. It's been a good day. I've had a really good day actually. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit the like button, subscribe, do all that stuff if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. All the best. Bye.